All right, man. Peace. Hey, your brothers, man. In this increasingly mechanized world that we live in, many of you brothers may notice the onus that is placed on the use of technology, particularly the smartphone. And I was gone from a convenience to a necessity. I remember when phones first came out, I was in high school. And it went to the flip phone, it went to the two-way pager. And all of a sudden, I remember when the smartphone first hit the scene, I said to myself, I was not going to deal with that phone because it had a tracking mechanism in it. And then I realized the futility of worrying about a tracking mechanism, because if they want to find us, they could find us. That's why you have to put your faith in the Most High. Due to the fact that the smartphone has become like a necessity now, it's led to the notion that a lot of people are addicted to it. And there's no doubt in my mind that many people are addicted to the smartphone. Some of you brothers may have been out on dates with a young lady and you notice she's always looking at her phone. Or hell, you might be one of those people always looking at your phone. You have to be very cognizant of anyone who feels the need to constantly check their phone and is so worried about whatever update they may be receiving from social media. That is not a person that is conducive for anything serious in regards to relationship. You always got to understand something, man. Access has its pros and its cons. So when I say access, I mean the access to the information that we have now at our fingertips. When we're dealing with smartphones, you're dealing with the internet, with cyberspace. When you type in www, that is you basically entering a key into a lock for you to go down a portal, down a rabbit hole. All www is the internet version of you clicking your heels 3 times. That's all it is. And when you go down that rabbit hole, understand that the access that you're seeking after also makes you privy to having information from yourself accessible by those who have provided you with that technology. Anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
The average American spends 5 hours a day on mobile devices. That's 76 full days a year. For some, that's wonderful. We learn, we make human connections, and experience wonder. But devices also shred our ability to focus. So what do we need to do to keep this balance? To start our process, we wanted to establish a baseline. So our cameras followed me home to document a typical Saturday where I use my phone and computer. And the second Saturday, which is not typical at all, where I use no technology. By the end,
people have to understand that the real relevance of the smartphone is to consolidate all of a person's needs into one mechanical instrument so that a person can become dependent on that mechanical instrument for everything. It becomes a proverbial mechanical Bible almost that people refer to for access, for amusement, for edification, so on and so forth. That was what its intended goal was when it was perfected and released out to the public.
By the end of our series, we hope to find the happy medium between the two. My first interaction with mankind, with any other sentient life, was with my phone. So now I'm opening ClearTune, which allows me to tune my guitar. Today I have a big piece of writing to do, so I need to find some time to be focused. After about 45 minutes, the normal itchiness of writing or of working, you can escape from those by, well, let's just check in with the email, detour to detour, and then suddenly you're in Albuquerque.
Yeah, that detour shit is no joke. I've done that a lot, especially when I access the internet on my phone. I end up looking things up and researching things. Next thing you know, I got 49 windows open.
Then there's that digital siren call. The interruption online. You can go off down a rabbit hole that tells you, and here I'm.
Hey, John Dickinson, let me find out you've been listening to my channel. That's right, sir. It is a rabbit hole, that portal to another dimension. For those of you brothers who don't understand what that term rabbit hole means, it means going from one world into another world. When you enter onto the internet, that's why they engineered it so that you had to type in www. The letter W is representative of the number 23, which has a high significance. Remember, DNA is associated with 23. The act of creation is associated with the number 23. That is an essential number in the Hermetic principles. Please understand that Hermes is Kush.
I'm now getting another. Oh, now this thing has gone off again. Oh, did you hear that? Come on. Come on, George. Let's go for a walk. Come on. A notification on your phone, or even the anticipation of one, releases dopamine. Somebody liked an Instagram photo? The chemical responsible for controlling the brain's reward and pleasure centers.
Let me find out John Dickinson is an insta-ho. Talking about somebody liked the Instagram photo. You posing on Instagram with a thong up your ass? What's going on, John Dickinson?
If you take 24 hours in a day, and let's say that I'm sleeping 8 hours a day, that leaves 16 hours. My phone has just interrupted me with a text. So
let me say this. There's a difference between utilizing your phone for important purposes, staying in contact with your loved ones, with important business connections, etc., edifying yourself, as opposed to someone who's a phone addict. That's why I tell you, brothers, when you're out on a so-called date with a young lady and she's always looking at her phone, she's on all of these social media platforms, that's a red flag for you to understand that that's someone to not take very seriously. Because the person is supposed to be focused on you when you're out and about with her. And if she can't grasp that, it's okay, because it's up to you to grasp that. That's why I always accentuate to cats that you're the one in control. You're in control because you're not concerned about trying to change the other person. You should be concerned about being perceptive enough that you don't get caught up in bad situations. A lot of cats ignore the fact that the female that they're out on a date with is always checking their phone because she has a fat ass and nice titties. And the next thing you know, 4 or 5 months from then, they're complaining about her conduct because some other dudes are liking her Instagram photos, or they saw someone communicating with their girl on Snapchat and all this other silly shit. When a female is stuck down that rabbit hole of social media, she's already telling you what she is. Most likely a pea-brain.
So we keep coming back for more. On this Saturday, I picked up the phone 86 times, using it for more than 4 hours. That's in addition to a few hours on the computer.
John Dickinson, you're just trying to show people you can play the guitar. Is this about the phone, or is this about you showing that you can play the guitar? A little fake-ass garage band that you're trying to get together.
Oh, hello again. Come on in. There it is, by itself, in digital timeout for the whole day, my phone. I cannot touch it. It's 10:20 in the morning. I've wanted to send these messages or check things. This is probably about a dozen times. The idea behind this is no devices in here at all. Dr. Michael Boehm runs the mindfulness program at the University of Pennsylvania.
I'm a big proponent of mindfulness for things like this, because mindfulness is really a process that trains your attention to be more stable.
He says when our attention is wobbly, we no longer make a choice to stay focused. We automatically pick up our phones. Today I've gone without technology, and increasingly over the course of the day I've had this hunted feeling, this itchy feeling. What's happened?
Yeah, because you're like a crackhead for your phone. You're going through withdrawals. Brothers, look, I always advocate, one of the things that I try to do is that I don't read too much in regards to online books unless I cannot find them in a bookstore or on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com or what have you. I normally order the real book as opposed to reading things on my phone, because I don't want to get too accustomed to always going to my phone for everything. The phone is a tool like everything else. It can be used or it can be abused. Of course, yes, it is a tracking mechanism. Yes, they attempt to use your phone and other forms of media, such as your television or movies, etc., to engineer your mind and transmit certain forms of propaganda into your subconscious. But once we understand that, then we should know how to make those things more difficult to occur. The main thing, though, is to put the Most High first. That's what truly matters.
Happening to me.
You're stepping in the way of a habit. It's hard. The thing that devices take from us is the ability to have a full, complete focus.
No. What devices do is they prey on the weakness of those who have not spent enough time trying to develop their personal life, their real world life. People have to understand the difference between the internet and real life, the real world. That's what I try to accentuate on my channel. When people try to bring their issues, their psychoses into the comment section on my channel. That's why I state incessantly, my channel is not for the gender war. It's not for the circular racial conversations, because people do use the internet as an outlet for their own inner angst. Do not blame your phone for your own mental weakness.
So when attention is drawn here and there over and over again, it becomes fragmented, and our experience of the whole world becomes fragmented in that same way.
Dr. Baim says there isn't a quick fix. To make a change, we actually need to rewire how our brain works, and that's what we'll be looking at in the rest of the series.
Well, if you have to rewire how your brain works over your phone, then I wish you luck, because that is something that most people do not have the cognitive ability to do. Once they're wired a certain way, it's not going to change. The average person in America is overly dependent on their phone, not just for business purposes, but just for an emotional support system. This is where many people go who may be on the verge of a nervous breakdown to find some form of succor or support for some type of psychological fragility that they may be suffering from, normally due to their pride and their embracing of a lot of these corrosive ideologies, whether it be feminism, liberalism, globalism, etc. Because these things are not working for anyone. So they're looking to their phone to find other people who think like them so that they can feel better about how futile the embracing of these ideologies has been for their own life.
With us now to help us take the first steps is Catherine Price. She is the author of How to Break Up with Your Phone, the 30...
Yeah, a lot of these lonely broads, they've spent so much time breaking up with people in the real world. Now they're trying to write books on breaking up with the phone. Why is that? Because the phone is the new husband for a lot of these females. Hey, a lot of these broads are going on these porno websites now. Remember back in the day, they used to make fun of young boys for watching porn or reading porno magazines. Now a lot of these chicks are all over these porno websites because they can't get a man anymore. Why do these liberal broads always write these books on self-help, and then as soon as the camera goes off, they're popping 3 and 4 pills? What the hell's going on?
The 30-day plan to take back your life. Well,
how to break up with your phone.
Welcome. First thing I want to do is, while it's a part of the process to unplug, nobody can unplug. It's like saying take a diet and then stop eating forever.
That's the point, sir. You're not supposed to be trying to unplug from your phone. Your phone is meant to make your life easier. That's why you have to use it and not abuse it.
Yeah. So this is really about balance, right?
Yeah, and it's not, I want to make a point, it's not a diet, it's a gift to yourself. So it's about finding a balance and finding a way of living that actually gives you, it's not about less time on your phone, it's about more time in your life, basically.
One of the things that was powerful to me learning about this over the years is the physical reaction, the need to reach into your pocket, which is quite powerful. Talk about that a little bit.
Yes, the reason that it makes you twitchy not to have your phone is that it's actually causing your brain to go into this reward cycle, similar to a slot machine. When you go to pull the slot machine lever and then you want to keep doing it compulsively, that's exactly what you're doing on your phone. I mean,
well, also because the phone is the connection for most people to the outside world. Because many of the interpersonal relationships that used to be commonplace in a functional society have now been disregarded. Because let's be for real, most males today have conformed to the notion that the female is above them. We're in a society that venerates the feminine principle. Many of these females no longer know how to work in concert with a man. So now they work through their phone for interpersonal connections. Everything is texting now. Everything is likes on a social media platform, as opposed to dwelling in a home with a significant other that they have been with from their teens all the way until the end of their life, as was commonplace back before the feminist movement. So the phone is being used as a replacement for many of the regular human dynamics that were commonplace. So now, of course, they do have to write books about how to break up with your phone, because the phone is replacing a man or a woman in some cases.
I mean, even to the degree of actually swiping down to see what's going to be waiting for you. And the fact that it's unpredictable makes us want to do it even more.
You have a 30-day challenge. What's week 1 all about?
Week 1 is basically about taking a step back, assessing where you are now, and deciding where you want to go. So one thing that people do that messes them up when they try to change their relationship with their phone is that they...
You don't have a relationship with your phone. There's no such thing as a relationship with your phone. You cannot have a relationship with something that is not alive. And this is why I ridicule the notion that they're writing a book about this phenomenon. Really what it is a reflection of, frankly, how decrepit the personal lives are of many of these modern liberal women.
They jump into making these little changes, like turning it to grayscale, without having a broader vision of what they want out of their relationship and also what they want to spend their newfound time on.
But you suggest deleting social media apps. Why?
Because the social media apps are used as a replacement for real world interactions. Oftentimes they're just used to encourage a mob mentality. That's why I oftentimes speak about the internet revolutionaries. YouTube and Facebook have become places for a lot of low-level thinking, mama's boy raised black males to talk about how everybody else is a coon except for them, but they never tell you when the race war is going to start. They never tell you when they're heading back to some country that is majority so-called black. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat have just become gathering places for people who are truly not happy with who they are. They don't understand how to maintain real human relationships and how to develop a rapport with someone else. The main thing that you have to have is some form of humility and scope. Understand that life is not all about you. When you have a phone, your phone is never going to tell you no. It's never going to answer back. It's going to provide you with immediate gratification. It's not going to have you question why you think what you think. When you go on Facebook, when you go on YouTube, you can find other people who may agree with your ideologies, whether it be that you're a so-called pro-black or you're a super feminist or you're a white nationalist, whatever it is. You don't have to be told, well, maybe you're wrong. And if you're wrong, have somebody give you facts. That's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in whether or not people agree or disagree. I don't care about that. I don't care about people's emotions. If you can provide some empirical data, some facts, I respect that, because that means that I'm being edified. If you can't edify me, there's no need to continue on any type of interaction.
Social media apps are particularly pernicious because they're designed to suck you in and to keep you using them for as long as possible.
Yes, because they prey on your insecurities. Social media apps, that's why they have so many filters. They know that many women are insecure about their wrinkles. They're insecure about their weight. They're insecure about their hair, their eyes, their eyebrows. So now they have all type of filters and adjustments that can be made to make a woman feel more beautiful, as opposed to you just being with a man who knows how to make you feel beautiful. That's why I state, once again, the phone and the apps are meant to be replacements for real world interactions and relationships. That happens after feminism, when many modern day women are no longer humble enough to dwell with someone. You have to humble yourself to be able to dwell with someone and have a real relationship. Like many times on my little channel, I'll have guys that'll come and they'll address me and I'll say, oh, well, man, you need to humble yourself. Bro, I humbled myself to the Most High 15 years ago. I have a father in the heavens. I have a father in the flesh. I humble myself to them from birth and from 15 years ago. And I interact and deal with everyone according to respect, not according to obeisance. There's an element of man worship that is very pervasive in this world. There's an element of cult worship. What do I mean by that? The development, the fomentation of a cult of personality, what you call celebrity worship. Oftentimes when people see that you don't worship the celebrities that they worship, they get upset with you. That is why you see such a backlash against people like Michael Jordan and other quote-unquote celebrities like that, because they were meant to act as surrogate fathers for the so-called black community. And now many internet revolutionaries are lashing out at the fact that Michael Jordan has not reciprocated their yearning for him to be their surrogate dad. I don't look at celebrities as anything other than what they are, which is people who sometimes are very talented, other times have just been placed in a position to distract people. That's all they are. Some of them are idiots, some of them are intelligent, some of them are sincere, most of them are not. Either way, I don't allow myself to get distracted. That is the main thing that people allow their phone to do, is distract them, most often because they hate their life. That's why the phone is such an important tool to be pushed on the masses, because they know that most people, that are a member of the masses or even of the so-called elite, they don't really like their life. Why? Because they've been taught to worship themselves.
Does that include Instagram?
I'm so sorry. Yes.
It is. The lost me, Kelvin.
Gail, you need to get your ass off Instagram. Nobody trying to see you on Instagram.
It does suck us in because you said, listen, it's not about throwing away your phone. It's about your relationship with your phone.
Exactly.
So week two, yeah.
Week two, once you've kind of gotten your framework in place, week two is where you actually start to make these concrete changes. For example, getting a real alarm clock instead of sleeping with your phone next to your bed. If your phone's your alarm clock, you're going to touch it first thing in the morning.
That's just silly. Why would you get an alarm clock when your phone has an alarm? If you have that deep a quote-unquote relationship with your phone, I would suspect that you have relationship issues in other aspects of your life and you're just trying to blame your phone.
Morning. So it's really about practical steps in a broader context.
Mm-hmm. And the reward of all of this is that you recapture something, right? And that once you figure out what it is that you want to recapture, but you're also recapturing a kind of more placid life. You don't end the day feeling shredded and thin.
Well, that's the point, really. That's really what you guys are getting at, is that you've made an emotional, spiritual, psychological investment into social media, because that's really the only thing that can make you feel thin and shredded is if you're spending too much time looking for the validation of other people, which is why people go to the internet, to social media, to find people to tell them that they look good or that they look sexy or that they look strong or that they're smart, so on and so forth. You shouldn't be going on the internet for that. Because if you were not going onto the internet looking to be accepted by people that you don't know, you wouldn't feel so quote unquote shredded and thin at the end of your day. It's not that difficult to figure out. Like I always tell you, brothers, life is not easy, but it is pretty simple. You're going to deal with stumbling blocks and roadblocks in your life, but you cannot put yourself in the position where you need somebody else to tell you how good you are in order for you to feel like your life should continue or not. Because the vast majority of people, they will disregard you when moments of adversity hit.
Yes, our phones are really stressing us out. And if you take a break like you did, you will start to notice that after the twitchiness fades, which it will, that you actually start to feel a lot rejuvenated and restored in a way that...
I don't think that your phones are stressing you out, ma'am. I think that you're stressing yourself out. I think that you are misusing your phone. And I'm sure that many people in the comments will say, well, that's basically what she's saying. Well, that may be basically what she's saying, but she needs to say it in a better way. She needs to put the onus more on herself as opposed to her phone. But I would suspect that that may incriminate her.
Be very surprising. You find out you were stressed in ways you didn't even realize that you were.
You do a digital detox, and you said it's a hangover that makes you feel good.
Yes, after you take a break from your phone, you will find yourself wanting to check it less for a few days afterwards, and it is very interesting to notice how good that feels.
This woman sounds like someone who went through a very bad breakup and was stressing herself out, looking to see if her former flame was texting her. That is what many of her comments are coming off to me as, or as her sentiments are coming off to me as. Someone who got left in a lurch by a man who no longer wanted to deal with her, and she spent a long period of time looking at her phone to see if he would be the first one to reach out, and she got tired of stressing herself over it, so she decided to write a book about it called How to Get Over Getting Dumped, aka Blame My Phone.
Week 3?
Week 3 is about what Michael Bain was talking about, retraining your muscles of attention, because our phones are basically inhibiting our abilities to focus, form new memories, concentrate. They're really undoing a lot of the hard work we put in over our lives to be able to sustain attention. So with things like meditation and mindfulness, those are exercises that can help you regain those abilities and undo some of those effects.
Last is week 4, as quick as you can?
Quick as you can. It's an assessment of what you've done so far and making a plan to go forward to make your new habits stick.
Excellent.
How did it feel, John? You didn't tell us.
It was tough, but then at the end, having that focus back was nice and unexpected in certain ways.
What focus are you talking about, John Dickerson? You spent your whole day playing with your dog and playing with your guitar. What are you talking about, man? You know damn well you had to check your phone to make sure that Gail sent you the email to let you know whether or not, you're going to link up with her for that weekend. Allegedly. Like, let's be for real. You work for CBS Morning News. You better be checking your damn phone. But you allow yourself to be used as a guinea pig for this segment, because if the women had to be used as a guinea pig and they had to be without their phone for a weekend, they might kill themselves. So you said, okay, I'll do it. But anyway, brothers, to make a long story short, the phone is just another tool that we use in this society, of course. Is it a tracking mechanism? Yes. Is it a way for the quote-unquote powers that be to try to utilize the portal known as the internet as a two-way interface to get in contact with our subconscious and make us think a certain way, make us feel a certain way about particular things? Of course it is. But use all things in moderation. It's not that big a deal. What the so-called black man should be paying more attention to is what these females that he's quote-unquote dating are doing on a lot of these apps, and making sure that she's attentive towards him, just like you should be attentive towards the Most High, and of course towards the woman when she conducts herself appropriately to the best of your ability. But anyway, peace.